Hello, I'm Grant Wallstrom, contributing editor to Internal Auditor Magazine's Fraud Department and Senior Manager of Fraud Forensics and Investigations at ADT in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm pleased to introduce this episode of Fraud on the All Things Internal Audit podcast, which provides fictionalized accounts of fraud based on actual events. IIA members can read the full fraud article exclusively in the June 2023 issue of Internal Auditor Magazine, including bonus material on lessons learned. Listen now to Cooking the Books.
Part 1. What's Eating the Profits? Chef Tony DeSalvo's review of his quarterly profit and loss statement was enough to make him queasy. Why was the cafeteria so deep in the red? One thing was obvious. His expenses were unusually high. This is not how he wanted to start his new role as cafeteria manager at Phoenix PHO Hospital. DeSalvo suspected theft. To test his hypothesis, he prepared 10 prepackaged sandwich lunch specials, placed them in the cafeteria for the lunch rush, and waited. His suspicions were right. A reconciliation after lunch could only account for 6 lunch specials. Where did the other 4 go? DeSalvo was now concerned about widespread theft in the cafeteria, so he scheduled a meeting with the hospital's chief financial officer, Calvin Hope. As luck would have it, Steve Kelly, the hospital's chief audit executive, was meeting with Hope when DeSalvo arrived. Because Hope knew that the chef was worried about theft, he asked Kelly to stick around. After DeSalvo explained his concern, Kelly agreed to conduct a review and requested the register reports of every cashier from the last 6 months, the daily cash reconciliations, and deposits reports. In no time, the chef had gathered the requested documentation. The next morning, before he began his audit, Kelly stopped at the cafeteria to purchase a cup of coffee, which cost him only 32 cents. Like other hospital employees, Kelly received a substantial discount on food in the cafeteria. The hospital's doctors and members of the clergy received an even better deal. Their meals were free. As Kelly reviewed the cashier register reports, he knew almost immediately he had a problem. One cashier had rung up more than 1,000 transactions in one day, each for exactly 32 cents. Based on this evidence, Kelly and DeSalvo went to Doug Draper, head of hospital security, and asked to review video from security cameras for the previous day's lunch rush. What they saw confirmed their fears. They observed the cashier ringing up every employee food sale as a discounted cup of coffee. That afternoon, Kelly and DeSalvo interviewed Penny Smith, the cashier under review. To their surprise, Smith admitted she had been ringing up all sales to staff as a discounted cup of coffee for more than 2 years, and said many of her fellow cashiers were giving similar unofficial discounts. Smith said she wanted to help her colleagues make ends meet by discounting their meals. She pointed out that it was unfair that doctors received a free lunch while employees who made much less money weren't given the same discount. But Kelly was not convinced that all of the losses could be explained by deeply discounted lunches that the cashiers were providing. And he was right. Part 2. Another hand in the cookie jar? It didn't take Steve Kelly long to track some financial losses at the Phoenix PHO Hospital cafeteria to a modern-day Robin Hood in cashier's clothing. But after getting the truth from Penny Smith, Kelly suspected her altruism wasn't the only thing feeding the cafeteria's losses. He continued his review by examining the daily cash reconciliation and deposit process. Kelly wanted to know how the cafeteria recorded the free lunches. He learned that when a physician or clergy member obtained a meal, the cashier would ring the sale up but would press a discount button that recorded the sale as no charge. The cashier's register tape recorded the total number of free meals, which would prove valuable in tracking down even more unsavory details. Kelly learned the cafeteria routinely prepared deposit reconciliations for cash, credit cards, or in the case of physicians and the clergy, free meals. He next recalculated a week of cash deposits, but noticed that on 4 days, the cash reconciliation matched the cash deposit, but not the cash collected. On all 4 days, the cashiers collected more cash than was being deposited. Further investigation uncovered that on the 4 days in question, the reported discounts for physicians and clergy had increased by the same amount as the cash missing from the deposits. He also found that the 4 questionable reconciliations were prepared by Jennifer Sunshine, the cafeteria supervisor. Kelly suspected Sunshine was manipulating the daily reconciliation by increasing the reported number of discounts to physicians and clergy, reducing reported cash collections, and pocketing the difference. In reviewing the reconciliation and deposit process, he noted that shift supervisors completed deposit tickets, then delivered the deposits to the finance department. However, no one in the finance department reviewed or signed off on the accuracy of the deposits before delivering them to the bank. Kelly and the hospital's director of human resources met with Sunshine, who quickly confessed to stealing the missing cash. However, she would not disclose how long the scheme had gone on or how much she had stolen. Any hope of finding out how long Sunshine had been skimming cash off the top were dashed when Kelly learned the hospital maintained only 6 months of records for cash reconciliations. Even so, a review of existing documentation determined just how lucrative Sunshine's scheme had been. In the previous 6 months, it had fed her bank account approximately $26,000. After Kelly reported his findings, the hospital's cash reconciliation and deposit processes were redesigned. Within 8 months, the cafeteria's revenues jumped by more than $200,000. Phoenix PHO Hospital reported Sunshine's scheme to law enforcement, and criminal charges were brought against her. She is currently awaiting trial.
This has been Fraud, a fictionalized account based on actual events, brought to you by the Institute of Internal Auditors. IIA members can access the full story in the June 2023 issue of Internal Auditor magazine, including bonus material on lessons learned. To read more, visit internalauditor.theiia.org. For more fraud-related resources from the IIA and the ACFE, including guidance and thought leadership, visit theiia.org/ACFE fraud.